Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Assetto Corsa. I am doing something a little bit different because I can't get Project Cars working at the moment, and I did not know it was going to capture my Steam overlay. Yeah, I can't get Project Cars working at the moment, so I decided that I would do something a little different and load up Assetto Corsa because I haven't played it in forever. And as you can probably see by the minute and precise input, I have a steering wheel now. Yep. Thrustmaster TX, it's very good. I love it. It's brilliant. So much better than using the dweeby little controller. I have not played this since upgrading to the TX, so this is going to be a bit of an experience. But having played a bit of Project Cars with it, yeah, it's pretty good. I love it. So we're in the McLaren MP4 12C GT3, and we're on Spa. So let's get started. I'll just mention that I have got the graphics settings turned down because I have no idea how this is going to perform while I'm recording. So it's not going to look the best. I mean, you can already see there's some flickering going on just over on that that barrier, the concrete wall there. So yeah, let's fire it up. Let's see how we go. So I haven't tweaked any of the settings yet on this. I've just loaded it up and started playing, started recording, started playing. So I have no idea how this is going to feel or how it's going to react. I am expecting that I will spin at some point because it's just what I do. I do like the difference in this, hearing the wheels. You can actually hear the tyres so much better in this compared to Project Cars. Not really a lot of feeling through the force feedback of what the front tyres are doing, but I don't mind that so much. I really prefer to feel what the back of the car is doing because I spend a lot of time driving rear-wheel drive cars, so I do prefer... Whoa. I do prefer to feel what's happening with the rear more so than the front, which was fun trying to get Project Cars configured to work like that because by default, when it first came out, the force feedback settings were abysmal. So it's alright now, it's actually pretty good now compared to how it was, but I actually have to admit that this by default feels pretty good. So, what can I talk about? Oh, I broke a bit early for that corner, didn't I? I don't know. What should I talk about? Visually, I would say that I'd probably put it... Honestly, I'd probably put it on par with Project Cars. Like, Project Cars, when it first was revealed, was lauded as this visually spectacular, gonna blow everyone out of the water kind of game. And then, because it took them so long to actually make and release the damn thing, everyone else kind of caught up with what they were doing, and so I did it again. Yeah, everyone else kind of caught up with what they were doing, so it kind of offset this visually amazing looking game, and now it just kind of looks average. I mean, Assetto Corsa, I'm not even running this on maximum settings, and it looks pretty much on par with Project Cars, so yeah, what's the saying? The train never stops. That was good. Felt that one going away from me. That's the funny thing with the default Project Cars force feedback, especially before the 1.4 update. I would have lost that, because by the time the force feedback was telling me that the rear of the car was going away, I'd already lost it at that point. I would not be able to recover from that spin, or from that loss of traction, and it would go into a spin like that. But that was only because I tried to take frickin' Eau Rouge flat in a GT3 car, which you should never try and do. Yeah, so I love the shift lights in this, the like glow that they got going on. That's cool. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, I would have lost it because of the way the force feedback by default in Project Cars was telling me what the car was doing. I mean, I've got it feeling a lot better now, because I'm talking also on the Xbox here, because I use the TX on the Xbox. I don't think I've actually played Project Cars on the PC since it came out, to be honest. I haven't touched it. I haven't felt inclined to really touch it, because I don't actually know, to be honest. I just haven't been overly inclined to play it, really. Alright, that time I took it too slow. Yeah, so it's one of those funny things where by default some companies do some things better than others, and this is one of those sort of things where by default the force... I hit that hard. Yeah, alright, I deserve that one. Yeah, what was I saying? By default, I've got damage turned off as well, by the way, because I knew that this was going to be a pretty comical show. The other thing I like is the just let me stop here. The steering input on Project Cars. I mean, that lock's there. that's where it stops. So that's probably, what, about just under 5, what would that be? That's 180, so it'd be just under 270, give or take? No. I don't know, but Project Cars, to turn a corner like... Oh, I've had a mental blank and I've forgotten the name of this first corner up here. But to turn a corner like it, I would have to turn the wheel in a GT3 car much further than you would expect to have to turn the wheel. I mean, you look at it here. That's good. And on Project Cars, I have to turn it like twice that much to get around a corner like that. I shouldn't have to do that. It's not... I mean, for a company that... did it again. I should concentrate on the driving, yeah? Not trying to take... Eau Rouge flat. Yeah, for a company that spoke so much about how it was going to be, you know, super realistic and... experience what it's like to be a race car driver. They've messed up big time in the handling department, because a GT3 car and even a Formula 1 car, I mean, having to turn the wheel more than... Oh, that was because I downshifted in the middle of the corner. Yeah, having to turn the wheel more than 180 degrees in a Formula 1 car just feels alien. To get around something like the hairpin at Monaco. Or sorry, Azure Circuit, as it's known in Project Cars. Because it doesn't really feel realistic to have to turn the wheel 360 degrees to turn a corner. But I mean, I suppose you could just say I'm nitpicking, but I don't know. It just this feels a lot better, because you look at the wheel when they're driving these cars in real life, and this is just what they're being like. They're just being very smooth, very, very precise, and it just does not feel like that in Project Cars. It just feels like you have to work excessively hard and turn the wheel a heck of a lot more than you should have to. I don't know, that's just a personal feeling. But maybe I'm wrong. I've been known to be wrong. So, what else can I talk about? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, really, I like how the feedback on this for when you've locked up, so much better. The tyre sound, the feedback that you get, there's a little bit of feedback that you get in the wheel. It is so much better. 2016, with this coming out on Xbox, Forza 6 coming out later this year, it's going to be a good year. We have a good 12 months ahead of us. Should I don't really know if I should do it at this point, but should I talk about the release of Project Cars and my thoughts about it? Because, I mean, it doesn't really feel like something I should talk about while playing Assetto Corsa, but I don't know. I mean, I would talk about it if I was playing Project Cars, which I'd be playing it if it was actually working, which right now it's not. I think it's my own fault that it's not working, so it's not anything against slightly mad, or the game, because I just think that I messed up one of my video settings and now the game just doesn't launch properly. Trying to remember the way to go about fixing that from development, but I've forgotten, so I'm probably gonna have to check the forums to find out how to reset the video settings for it so I can actually launch the game again. But because I wanted to really get on here and make a video, because I haven't made one for a while, yeah, Assetto Corsa was here, so I thought it might be a good idea to just load this up and give it a crack, given that I haven't played it for a while, which, you know, I'm actually not doing too bad, I feel, considering I haven't played it for a while. I mean, I haven't really been doing... Of course, I just, like... Let's just put the mods on myself, shall I? Yeah, so whatever. I mean, right now I'm not particularly what's the word I'm looking for? Bubbly about some of the things that are happening with Project Cars at the moment. I get the concept of wanting to get people involved in Project Cars 2 from day one, and the whole idea of starting the project when they have, because they don't want to fire people and all this, but I really just get the feeling they didn't have to go all gung-ho with the public announcement and you know, the massive fanfare that they've made out of the fact that, yes, Project Cars 2 is coming, and this is what we're going to do with it, and this is how we're going to go about it, and we don't really need your money, but we'd appreciate it if you give us some. Yeah, I don't know. And the £50, which equates to like $102 Australian entry bar, is yeah, a bit beyond it, so I think I'm going to give it a miss this time around. I mean, I was never really... Yeah, I was never really keen on the idea of going back to do it again anyway. Mainly the only reason I would have done it was so as I could keep the guys that I race with up to speed with how the development's going, but I suppose there's going to be plenty of people that are going to be doing that sort of thing anyway, so there's not really going to be a need. And realistically, if any of them want to keep up with development, then one of them can spend the money this time around to back it. I'm not fussed. I've got enough racing games to get me by for now. And I mean, if they do all the things that they want to do, maybe, yeah, I'll pick it up, but this time around I think I'll wait for the reviews and stuff to start coming out for it, so someone else's turn to carry the torch and give me an idea of how it's going to be. I like the sounds. The audio is really... It's really precise, you know, it helps you realise where you are and what you're doing, and in there, the way it runs along the ground, you can hear it scraping along the ground. Just sometimes you get the thing where they just overload you with too much sound. Like Forza, for example, the tyre sounds on Forza are too much. They need to tone it down a bit because it does not make that much noise as much as they reckon it does, especially over the sounds of an engine. For the Formula E car, it makes sense because there's not a lot of engine sound from that thing, or motor sound, I should say, because it has a motor, not an engine. It makes sense for that, but for something like, you know, V8 supercar, for example, you barely hear the engine, the wheels, the tyres, even when they're locked up going into a corner, let alone generally just, whoa, power down off the curb, not good. Yeah, you barely hear the locking sounds over a V8 engine from a V8 supercar, let alone just general tyre squeal going through a corner. So, from the driver's perspective you might hear it, but from a spectator perspective, you really don't hear it as much as Forza seems to think that you do. Alright, I reckon I've had enough for now with this. I do like this. Full control in the pit lane. The pit limiter activates automatically. You don't have to worry about doing any you know, mapping a pit lane speed limiter or anything. It just does it itself. It deactivates itself when you reach the end of the pit lane. Yeah, it's really handy. Now, where do I get to my menu from here? There we go. So, back to pits. So here we have our information. So I set the track grip to be at its optimal level because I couldn't be bothered driving around for hours and hours and hours to get it up to thing. Tuning is, as you would expect, you can adjust all the things. So fast rebound, regular rebound, engine limiter, different suspension settings, advanced suspension settings. It shows you a list of your lap times. What did I have? Best of 2:32.5. This is your telemetry. So the red line is my telemetry from my best lap, and the white line is from my last lap. So you can sort of see that around here, which is probably, what would that have been? Coming around onto sort of the back straight area, I was a little better going into the corner, and I was better at the end of the straight, but then that was where I lost it as well. So and then I came into the pits. You can see the gearing, different gear things, and that's where it's kind of good because you can get a gauge of which, when you know the track that you're doing and whereabouts on the lap you are, you can get an idea of like, oh hey, I was better going through that corner in, you know, third gear than I was in fourth, sort of thing, and might be better going down to third next time I go around it instead of staying in fourth. So yeah, telemetry like that. This is the kind of stuff that you have to get an external app to actually check out in Project Cars, which is not so much a bad thing, but it's really nice that they at least provide this kind of stuff built in to this. And I assume this is going to be the kind of stuff that's going to be built into the Xbox version as well, which is really handy because excuse me. Yeah, which is really handy because it's good for, you know, working out what you should do with your tuning setup to get yourself back to or on the pace. So you can see here the basic car status, just as I'm sitting in the pit lane. You get to name all of your individually set up your tunes for different tracks, which is nice. It's good. I do believe this would give you the full list of all the drivers in the lobby if you had more than just me in there. And I don't think you can. No, I was gonna say gives you a breakdown. I thought you could double click it and get a breakdown of like your best sectors and stuff, but apparently not, unless that's in a different window. I don't know. No. Okay. Oh, that's the drive button. Righto. Yeah, so that's a bit of a look at, well, me failing to drive a McLaren MP4 12C GT3 around Spa. I made a few mistakes, my bad. Given that this video is now encroaching on half an hour, I should probably call it there. But it gets a big thumbs up from me because I think it feels pretty good. It'll be nice to see actually what I'll have a look later because I haven't actually really kept up with Assetto Corsa's development. Partly because I was invested in Project Cars, so not one of the tiers that gets me money back, because I'm not like that. I wasn't interested in getting the money back. I just wanted to see how they would go getting that project made, which is another story entirely. But yeah, I'll definitely check now and keep an eye on how Assetto Corsa is tracking, because we always love to keep an eye out on different racing games to see which one would offer us the, I suppose, most comprehensive package for racing for our little community we have on Xbox One. So yeah, I'll check it out and maybe make some more videos for it here. I don't know. We'll see.